I truly do not believe that homeownership is for everyone. But wait, Casey, isn't that how you make money? Yeah, that's exactly why I believe that it's not for everyone, because I have learned that not everyone should own a house. And if you would like to know why I think that and would like to know if maybe now's the right time for you to buy or if you should keep renting, please watch this video. About to get started right now after the intro plays. Hi, it's Kasie Gray, your homegirl, broker associate, and your friendly realtor that's not going to tell you to buy a house just so she can cash a check. So if you're watching this video, you're probably currently renting, or maybe you know someone that's renting. You're probably thinking, is now a good time for me to buy a house? I don't know, not sure, not an expert, not a realtor, don't know. Casey, please tell me. So there are a few things that come into play when thinking about buying or renting and what kind of factors are going to determine your decision. One, how long will you be staying in the house and the area? Basically as well. Two, what will you do with the house once you've outgrown it, once your plan is up? Will you be renting it out? Will you be selling it? Because those things will also impact. I know a lot of people buy their first house so that they can use it as a rental down the line. If you're not interested in being a landlord, then you're probably going to have to sell it, and if you're going to have to sell it, then that means you're going to have to pay fees, and this is why we're considering if buying or renting is a better option. So like I said, when buying and selling, there are fees. There's closing costs for both buyers and sellers. When you're buying a house, you're paying lender fees, you're paying taxes, you're paying insurance, you're paying all kinds of stuff that you're not paying when renting a house. And when you're selling a house, you are also paying closing costs. You're going to be paying transfer tax, agent fees, different things around the house, possibly repairs. Some buyers might ask you to pay for their closing costs, so there's lots of different things to think about, but typically you're going to be paying about 8% of the purchase price in fees, so that's coming out of your net cost. So that is something to consider when calculating the net sale of your home. And obviously if you're in that house for a short period of time, you're not going to have enough equity to be able to sell. That's when they call it a short sale, for you selling the house for less than what you owe on the property. And that's a whole big long tangle, and we don't want anyone to be in that sort of position. So another thing to consider, when buying your house is your job like recession proof? If it comes down to it, are you going to lose your job based off of something negative happening to the economy? There's a lot of different things to think about when buying a house, So when calculating how much you will net from the sale of your home, that is something you have to consider, all those fees. Yeah, people like to say renting is just throwing your money away, and while that might be the case in some situations, it isn't in all of the situations. So if you're someone that moves a lot, someone that is unsure of where you're wanting to plant your roots, unsure of what the future holds for you for the next couple of years, renting is a great option. And thank goodness we have landlords that are willing to rent out their house, because where would we be without that? That is why rent control is bad, which I'll get into in another video because that, needs some attention. But if you are renting allows for a lot more flexibility. Chances are your lease is about a year, if not month to month. You're able to get out, you're able to, your deposit that you're having to leave behind, it's maybe $1,000, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much compared to what you're going to leave behind if you're buying a house. And of course, financial freedom. If you're not stuck to a mortgage, then you can go rent a van and drive off into the sunset and not have to worry about paying anything ever again, except for like maybe your gas, I guess. But there is a lot more freedoms that come with renting, unlike buying. When you buy a house, there are a lot of pros, but in this situation I'm going to talk to you about the negatives, because there are negatives. When something goes wrong, whether it's the roof, whether it's a water heater, whether it's a doorknob falling off, you are the one that's fixing it. And that might be the case for your rental, and if that's the case, then buying might be a good option. If you're putting all of this money, this sweat equity into this rental, then why not buy it? Or why not go buy a house and put money into that? That makes completely sense. But if you live in an apartment complex where you're able to call your manager and say, hey, this, and this is wrong, come fix it, and they do, then that is like amazing because you're not having to deal with any of that. It's on someone else's tab. It's not your fault. You're not having to pay out of pocket for it. When selling your house, like I said, costs about 8% of the purchase price to be able to sell your house, which is quite a big fee to pay, unlike, you know, renting and being able to just leave your deposit behind and moving on with your life. So there are a lot, and if it comes down to it, getting foreclosed on affects you for years and years to come, and a short sale even affects your credit. So there's lots of things to think about. You can't just go buy a house and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's going to affect you in a negative way if it doesn't work out for a long time. So thank goodness for the amazing interwebs, because there are a ton of tools that show you renting versus buying, how much it'll cost, when at the price that you're going to rent a house for, when after a certain amount of years, when is your investment paying off, when are you going to be able to use that equity, and so much more. I'm going to leave a bunch of links down below and probably insert a clip of me using that for a minute. It's just pretty easy, pretty explainable. You can see all of the different costs, and you know, there are a lot of great things about owning a house. Of course, in its own way, it's freedom, because you're not having to deal with anyone else's rules. You're able to do what you want. You can knock out walls. You can have a dog farm, you can have a chicken farm if the county and city allows it. But that is why I have a job, is because if you do not understand those different things, what is the best option for you, I am here to walk you through that and help you through the process. So any questions at all about you or your friend, anyone, if you're worried about them buying a house and don't think they can afford it, please reach out to me and I would love to help them, or you, or whoever. If you have any questions, if you want to schedule a buyer consultation with me, please do that. There will be links down below to my free buyer guide and a link to set up an appointment with me. And please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, follow me on Instagram, do all the things you know you should be doing, and I will see you in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. That's all, folks.